Hey guys, welcome to another Iron Mike GT Sport FAI stream. Today we're at Maggiore West. This is the, I can't remember, what is it, round 2, Nations. With the Mitsubishi Lancers or the Subaru WRXs. Tyre wear was ×8, hards only. And fuel, I think, was ×2. During the week I've been practicing and also doing lobbies, and I just decided I didn't want to, but the WRX did seem to be faster. I was really hoping the Lancer would have some other hidden strength, like maybe it's not as fast but the tyres handled better, but no, it just seemed like the WRX was very, dominant, maybe by 2 to 5% better. That's what I found. And as you saw there in the lineup, I did a proper qualifying, and surprisingly I came in 3rd. I thought maybe I would qualify 10th or something, but 3rd I am. And I had brake balance at +1. I didn't really feel like brake balance made any difference again to tyre wear. But just put its +1 to be sure. So second place did a very bizarre inside move there. Whether or not that's distracted first place, who's dropped back to 3rd, putting me from 3rd up into 2nd, and then just praying to God that I get around those first 2 corners quite cleanly, which luckily I did. So that's put me from 3rd to 2nd. And like I said, I've been doing lobbies during the week, and initially I was thinking this is a no-stopper race. Didn't really practice pitting, but I felt like the tyres wore a lot, but the lap times didn't really drop away as the tyres were wearing, fuel was depleting as well, so lap time seemed to be consistent, so I was pretty confident it was a no-stopper. But then when I did some lobbies with other people, some of them pitted and they would come out 6 seconds later out of the pits and would be catching pretty fast. As my tyres were wearing, they would be catching pretty fast, so that kind of changed my mind about whether it's pit or not. So I did do a comparison, a lobby race without pitting and a lobby race with pitting, and at the time I found that with pitting I was only maybe, I think it was 12 seconds quicker, but also I thought, that gives you a bit more stability. The better tyres means you're going to be a bit more reliable on track, compared to not pitting and near the end of the race being all over the place. So originally in my mind I was thinking most people will possibly be pitting, but the tyre wear I actually found by probably lap 6, I was looking at the tyre wear and I thought it just doesn't look as bad as a lobby, although I had been practicing a lot and trying different ways to try and preserve the tyres. But before I know it, I am in a race where 99% of the people were not pitting. And the other thing that drove me not to pit was I kept looking at that little map up the top right hand corner, and there were quite a bunch of people within a 6-second range. I thought it was just a little bit too risky. Just keep going. Things were looking good, and hang on to slipstream. So Deadly Dad, who got pole position and messed up turn 1, 2 and dropped back to 3rd, has just finally passed me, and then I see I've got a 3-second gap to Big H Racing in position 4. And I knew through the experience of the lobbies, it's not a It's not a huge slipstream, but it did help out. So my goal at this point was be grateful for third place and just keep the laps ticking over and stick in that slipstream and stay with these guys, because Big H Racing at 2.9 seconds behind doesn't have any slipstream. So the goal was just stick with these guys and just play the race out. Don't make any silly moves for now, because I'm still in the frame of mind of look after my tyres. And so far so good. And then I guess if you look at the top right hand little map, Big H Racing is now just three. Oh yeah, he's back up 3 seconds, but then there's a bit of a gap behind him. So at the time I was thinking, oh, things are surprisingly looking pretty good. Reminding myself I'm in people's slipstream, so just brake a touch earlier. Don't take these corners too crazy. And look after the tyres. And I would say majority of this race I was looking at those split times. Obviously a split time between me and second place to make sure he doesn't break away over a second. But also between myself and the person behind me. Just making sure that, yeah, we are actually getting away. And to be honest with you, the other part of just sit behind and be patient was I was hoping that these two would think the opposite in a slight way and be working their tyres, so that further down the track I'll be ready to start passing them. But the other thing I didn't want was for them to begin to fight a little bit too early and just start losing time for all three of us. So it looks like the top three are Subaru WRXs. It's not a car I drive all that often. Seems reasonable. The Mitsubishi Lancer, I think that was the first car I tested, but eventually when I did test it against the Subaru, I actually found it was this car is 6 gears. The Lancer is 5. I just found it to be a little bit more better on braking and stable. So there was that draw card for that. It was just the final lap time was just a bit slower, maybe 1 second for me. Tyre wear was pretty much identical. So I had to ditch the idea of going with Mitsubishi. I think majority of people who pick the Mitsubishi Lancer do tend to end up at the back. So I'm doing alright, I'm staying within that 1 second range. Sometimes, like maybe on this corner, I feel like I've just fallen back a touch, but with those two, it looks like they're starting to battle now. And that just allows me to stay with them. Allows me to just make a few little mistakes and get away with it. But also then looking up at position 4 again, 3.5 seconds. And I was just really hoping these two would, it's too early to be battling, so I'd be hoping that they just sort of stick in a slipstream train and just pull away. And then maybe by lap 12, once we've got a huge gap, then we can sort each other out. So again here I'd be looking at Deadly Dad, just see him taking different lines, like he's trying to get ready to try and move around Noz and Charlie. So almost a 4-second gap between me and 4th place. So the gap is growing. I'm just trying to get these two to settle down. So it looks like Deadly Dad is trying to go for a move there, but nothing doing. I go a touch deep there. I get a little bit distracted with watching those two. And then again looking at split time between me and 4th place, just under 4 seconds, and I'm thinking this is costing us time. And again with the slipstream just braking just a touch early. Now, the other thing I noticed was position 5, that Makosi academic. He started, I was surprised, apparently he's a pretty fast driver. I was expecting him to be further up, at least in front of me on grid start. But he started back maybe, I can't remember, 8th or something. But I kind of knew that he would begin to push his way to the front. And he's slowly getting there. So it looks like Noz and Charlie's been pushing a little bit too hard. It's gone out wide, so could that be his tyres, his hard tyres wearing? And I just had a gut feeling he was holding me up here, like just trying to block a bit, like pulling a real tight line there. And then again here, sort of slowing up. And I thought obviously his tyres are gone and he doesn't want me to pass. The last thing I wanted to start doing was putting in some serious challenges. So I'm just getting a feel for where he is, you know, with his tyres. And I get the feeling he's still doing okay. And we're hanging in there a bit with 1st place. So again, I thought I'll just sit behind him. Split times down to 3.4. And we've still got Big H Racing behind us, so not too much movement behind us. And just like the title says, keeping composed, I just really had to make sure I wasn't pushing myself too hard. It would just slow me down, so every corner just trying to get it right, not perfect but just right. Just backing off a touch there, and then on the downhill pushing, trying to maintain a straight line here as best I can. And hitting my brake points properly and just gearing down in time. And then just occasionally keeping an eye on my tyres. So we've gone pretty much past a pit stop. If I was to do one, we've pretty much passed that. Would have been lap 7 or 8. And there is quite a bit of a gap behind me. So in theory I could have pitted, maybe lost 2 positions, but then I'd have to fight to get them back. And the tyre wear isn't too bad, so I was just watching these guys. If any of these were to pit in that time, lap 7, 8, 9, I would I'd be following them in. It's amazing when you do a race like this and you finish off okay, and then you watch the replay of the people at the back and just watch them battling, and it's just costing them time. It's a lesson to be learnt, I guess. But sometimes you get drawn into a battle and you don't want to, but you can't help it. You have to fight for a position. Big H is dropping off up to 4.5 seconds and climbing, and Deadly Dad and Noz and Charlie are slowly pulling away. But again, for me, the race isn't over. My tyres were surprisingly in reasonable condition, so I was hoping that at some point they would begin to fall away. So 5 laps to go. Occasionally feel like I'm just going a bit too deep there, which are just little reminders to just brake just a little bit more earlier than what you normally would. And Noz and Charlie there, he just lost it a bit. Now for me I was thinking, oh, his tyres are going. So every corner I'd be reading his driving line, hoping he'd just go out a bit wide there into the gravel. So it looks like that Mikosi Academic has dropped off a bit. He was in 5th and he's dropped back to 6th. Average driver in 5th position. I had raced in a lobby with him, and I think he won the race in the lobby. So when I saw his name in the list of this FAI, I thought he's probably going to do quite well. And he may have done if he didn't get caught up with other cars, I'm guessing. So even myself, I feel like my tyres are starting to labour. And Noz and Charlie slowly pulling away. And here, so if you look at the my time against the leader, that's 4.7. Noz and Charlie is 2.3 in front of me. So I thought, well, he's 2.4 behind Deadly Dad. And I was hoping he would be desperately trying to catch up, causing him to chew his tyres, while also me at the back trying to just maintain my consistency and just remain within reach. Just trying to encourage him to push hard. And my lap time between myself and 4th is my split time is 5.4, which is now average driver. So it's 5.5 seconds, and I've got 3 laps to go. I really still wasn't 100% comfortable. So as Noz and Charlie seems to be consistently ahead of me, it was average driver now in position 4. Split time I'd be watching, thinking, well, I've got 5.5 seconds with 3 laps to go. It seems far, but anything can still happen. So this was the first race of the day. I enjoy doing the first one. I try to avoid missing it. I would not want to hop cold into the second race when everyone A has had one race experience, and B, they're probably, for those who didn't do so well, are more determined to do better. And I'm going to be going in cold on a second or third race, not knowing what to expect. So always try and grab the first. So we've got 2 laps to go, and average driver in 4th is now, well, he was 4, now he's 4.5, 4.6. So it looks like I as well am maintaining a healthy gap. It's not catching me fast. But Deadly Dad and Noz and Charlie have a healthy lead over me. And the tyre wear, almost at the end of the race, I was really surprised. So that tyre wear is looking like, maybe the front left looks like about 30% wear, whereas in a lobby I'd be hitting more like 40 to 50% tyre wear, which is really a sign you need to pit. So I was really surprised at how well I've managed to look after those tyres. So final lap now, and I kind of still got 5-second lead over average driver. Kind of here maybe I just began to relax a bit. I was pretty happy with to get 3rd place. And my lap times have been pretty good. So again, during the week in a lobby, I'd be averaging a minute 31.5, let's say. Whereas I've had a number of minute 30s. I'd say a lot of that has to do with holding onto that slipstream. And also just taking corners a little bit more calmer, keeping composed. It's coming into the final corner now. Coming in for 3rd place. It surprised me. I didn't think I'd qualify so high, or at least even maintain that position. I thought I would have got run over halfway through the race, but no, I did well. So starting 3rd, finishing 3rd, door number 17 even. So 75 points. I was pretty happy with that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, thanks, and looking forward to seeing your streams.